Hey, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. I'm right outside the shop today. This is the man cave, pardon me, and I've got my Tormek Super Grind 2000. Model JT, whatever, I got my Tormek out. And yesterday I showed a picture where I did about a dozen pair of scissors for my wife for her sewing studio. I want to do a little bit more. But hey, you know the deal if you're going to be here. You know what you got to do? You got to watch. This is 100% pure honeydew. Honey, do this for me. Honey, do this for me. Honey, do this. Honey, do you really care? Honey? Well, we've got to be careful. Okay. About a dozen, well, no, what was there? 16, 17, wow, 18 years ago, my wife bought me this Tormek as a gift. She called one of her wood turning buddies. Here's a clue for you. She called one of her wood turning buddies and said, hey, what would Eddie really like for a Christmas gift? Because he's got a nice bonus coming right now, and I want to spend some on him. She spent it all on me. Keep telling you this woman's something else. And I mean it. Well, he told her about the Tormek. She went to somebody's advertisement book and bought the Tormek. And I was shocked when it showed up a couple of weeks later. It took a couple of weeks to get here. But it was a really great deal. Now, when I got the Tormek, I thought, well, I got to have my turning tools so sharp you can shave with them, and that's what I'm going to get out of this. I just didn't know enough about wood turning to understand sharp is okay, but the use was critical. How you used them. But she also found out that they make a jig and a plate, and you can sharpen scissors. And I am married to the Queen of Quilting. Yes, she's the Queen of Quilting, and if she isn't the Queen, she's the prime princess of quilting. She's been up all these shows with all these great turners, like all these great quilters like Bonnie Hunter and all that. She lives for this. I mean, she went geeky a couple of weeks ago because she could go to a class and be one-on-one with some of the best in the world. That's what they live for. And guys, gals, you know that's what we live for too. I couldn't name the guys that of any prominence that I'd like to have come visit the shop and just say, oh, the name and all that. The guys I'd talk about would be like Ellie Avocera and Lyle Jameson, Ron Brown. Those guys, because they get out there and they get creative with what they do, and they make it work. That's what she got this for me. So, I have a pair of scissors just right out of the kitchen, and I put a red line using a Sharpie ultra fine line, whatever. I put a mark on there on both edges. Now, that mark is going to show me where I'm not cutting or I am cutting. Now you think, can I see that? No, you can't. No, you can't. I think that's where I got to start. Somehow I touched that button and it stopped. So let's pick it up there. I mounted it in a rig. The rig's got a holder where to hold scissors from left or from right, and but it'll hold pinking shears, garden shears, pruners, all that stuff. Where did I get all that from? This wonderful book that they give you from Tormek. I mean, it's got everything about sharpening the tools and the angles and all that stuff. Oh, I was right here. You don't have to invent anything. Go to the book. I had mine spiral bound so I could lay it flat right here in front of me and cheat on it when I'm talking to you. Alright, it's mounted in the holder. This has been set up. I got a little gauge for setting it up. Alright, and then I'm going to put the holder flat on and then start removing the metal. Now, I did a Facebook on this a couple of days ago, and I had guys say, wow, I got to get me one of those. Not about to say you can't live without it, because it's a nice feature. I said I put the red marks on them. You see the red line? That's the cutting surface. This is not the cutting surface, this part. This is this top. All right, now, when I ran it through the machine just now, I had that red line on top of this, and if you can see it in light, 90% of it's gone, which means I'm in the right angle. I'm going to go back and grind a little bit more, but that red mark allowed me to know if I was getting close. But I have this set. This is where I always cut it at. Oh yeah, there's no math on the scissors. Don't worry about it. Oh, and for you guys and gals that think there is a math to it, it's okay. Really isn't. That is now ground from front to back evenly. I removed all the red off of it. Oh no, I got a little bitty spot right at the end of here. I'm going to go back and get that off. The beauty of this is it goes slow. It's water bound. It's water. It's wet sanding. Okay, wet grinding. Now, the beauty of that is none of that is going in here. It's not grinding it off and throwing it into my face. It's going in that little water bucket down there. And it's going around, and I've cleaned up that corner a little bit. And I'm going to take a good hard look and see if there's any ridges or marks on it or whatever. And from the Queen of Sewing, I managed to get a piece of fabric from her that's not rags. They don't give up fabric. Trust me, they don't. All right, I want to say that side's done. Time to go to other side. Now we flipped it right over in the cutter, remounted it. I still got that red edge on there. And I'm going to go back and grind it lightly. One end to the other, take a look at it. And yes, I am right on the money. I'm cutting right down where I should be. Let's see, can we get it? Where am I? Right here. You see how the red's starting to disappear a little bit? There you go. That's going to tell me I'm at the right spot. Did about 3 passes on that side. Got it all cleaned up. My idea of the red marker came from these folks. Because I'll know where my grinding wheel is passing. Because it passes so fine. I mean, this is water-based. And it is very, very slick. Now, if I want to true it back up again, I'm going to go back to this. If we're going to true it back up again, I've got a stone they call a grading stone. Got a real fine side that I can knock a little trash off with, and I got a coarser side to freshen it back up. The key is, this has got to be dead flat. So if you're grinding wrong and you put dips in it, you got to true it back up again, and then make a jig for doing that. All right, but back to the scissors. All right, these are now sharpened up, and she gave me a good piece of fabric, and what I want to do is see if it's sharp. Now, it cut. All right, I can cut fabric with a pair of lawn shears, but do you really cut it? When you go in here to cut this, look at it real closely, and if the fabric, you got to see this. This is as close as I can get you. But take a look at the fabric as it's moving through here. The fabric is not moving under the scissors. It's being cut by them. What I mean is, if it was barely cutting, it would be pushing the fabric out. But I'm not. I am cutting 2 layers thick, and I'm slicing right through. And there's no movement, and that's what they call the scissors world calls it walking. There's no walking, because when it walks, moves, it tears. We want to shear it. I'm back to that shearing stuff again. Right in there. That is a fair cutting, very nice cutting scissors. Right about now you're saying, what in the hell does that have to do with wood turning? It's not wood turning. It's tool care. In a few minutes, I'm going to move this camera over there so I can get a power to plug it in and get the light to go on. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to dress up the edge of my fingernail gouge and polish it to a razor sharp edge. Then I might go ahead and lap out my skew a little bit and then polish it to a better edge. And then maybe it's time to, I think so. We'll go ahead and put the parting tool up here and put a little edge on the parting tool at the same time. Why? If you've got the devices and you can use them and you can better the work you're doing, you'll do better work. I could really write posters. I really could. Yeah. But in a minute, I'll show you what I'm talking about on regular tools. First, I got to finish the scissors. If I don't turn them into management, could be trouble here. Well, there won't be any lunch. That could be trouble. We did a quick little tutorial on sharpening scissors. It really wasn't a tutorial. I was just showing you the capabilities of the Super Grind 2000 is. I love the name Super Grind 2000. I like that Binford thing from Home Improvement. Binford 6100. All right, but what I didn't show you was I cleaned the scissors with denatured alcohol when I got done. I did clean them all the way, all the parting surfaces. Don't lubricate scissors. You want to make an enemy? Put oil on the scissors and it gets on the fabric. It's not going to be on the place they cut, but hey, it's like the red marks on the top. That'll get on the fabric, but you sew that away. No, I don't want it on the fabric. I don't want it. So clean them up with denatured alcohol really good. Take all the marks off and all the goop and all the crap, and they work pretty good. Don't hone them on a glass jar. That's crap. Okay, now I flipped the thing around and went to this side because I'm going to show you doing some turning tools. And I really do believe that tools have a relative sharpness to them. We can do that. Okay. And it's not always the sharpest tool in the drawer does the best cutting. It's the sharpest tool on the end of the tool. Sharp is not on the end of the tool that does the cutting. Saying is, it's not always the tool, it can be you. So if it's tearing up, it might not be that, it might be you. So let's talk about sharpening up. This is a fingernail grind gouge done by Mark Soleil. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a class with Mark, and he showed us how to do this fingernail grind, and he actually did it. Well, I can't get that thing to focus for nothing. See if that'll help. No, that didn't do it either. But it's a little fingernail grind, and it's hand done. It's on a fingernail grind. And the point of this is, all the cutting is done on that one little 32nd of an inch out there. 32nd of an inch. It's not this wide. It's not that wide. It's not. It's 32nd of an inch. And that's the only part I need sharp. Now the rest of it does any cutting. So I'm going to go over to the grinder. It's a grinder. And it's got a polishing head on it. And I'm going to take and polish out the bead a little bit. Why? I want to remove any claws or anything on it. Now this is using a polishing compound which is not very coarse. So it's like dragging it back across the cloth a couple of times. But I cleaned it up. Now I know that that is clean. The setting, there's a jig. See this jig? They give you this jig with the machine. It's even got his name on it, Tormek. Right? This is set up to where you can adjust it for gouges. Carving tools, turning tools, carving tools, it's awesome. Turning tools, etc. I cheated. I went and made a little set of bars to tell me how far out from that platform right there this bar would be when I'm using it. Oh, it's real cheap because that's my Ellsworth gouge. So Ellsworth in this, and did my little setback thing to get the distance off the tip. And here it looks to be like 2 1/8 or something. Might not be as good as they said in the book, because I did read the book. I didn't put it down and read it later. I put it in, I have it all adjusted and ready to go, and it's got an adjustment for angle, and you can break it with an Allen wrench and adjust this angle. That will adjust this throw a little bit. But I tested it out. I slid it on there. Slid it on to the important part. I slid it on the piece, and that is the hinge right there. That's my 3 points. All right. Now, 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the swing around. Show you how this is. This is the extent of sharpening. That was 3 passes. That might have been 2 passes too many. More than I needed. But I'm going to look at it. I want you to see this too. The light is right, and I'm trying to make sure the light's right so you can see it. You see, I did paint it with the mark slot, and I've erased all of one edge, just along that edge. 32nd of an inch. And that's what does the cutting. It really is. The rest of this removed them out of the grinder because it was heavy grind. This is a fine, fine grind. I said that was a very fine grind. It is. It's water-based, it's water-cooled, water-treated, whatever. This thing is very fine. You barely lose a fingerprint on this. Okay? And I've got it trued with the stone to be fine, fine, fine. Which it'll show you how to do it. But I've got this tool now. I've removed any claws on it, and I went through and I dressed off the edge, and that is razor sharp. But little bitty teeth on it, little bitty teeth, which means it'll cut like a bear. Now, when I'm doing a finial, or putting the detail in, or even going around the outside of an egg or whatever, I only cut with that point. I only need it sharp. I don't care about the rest of the stuff. Okay? But when I have that done right, and I look really hard at it, I can see I don't have any bright spots going around where they say I didn't dress it off. That's important. That's why we put the red on it, to see if you got all the old steel off. Once you get it set up, it's a matter of just easy. That's a fingernail gouge. This is my skew. The angle on my skew, this angle here, matches the angle on my jaws. So when I do a pocket cut for my jaws, matches up. You see when I do the jaws, you'll see how that is. I don't normally regrind this and only take it to a diamond stone. But I'm going to do it again. Show you how little material this moves and how efficient you can be. And when I say a little material, the secret to keeping that dead flat is not to overwork the tool. Well, I need to do more cutting than that. Then you need a different tool. I need to shape the tool. You need a different tool. What is this one for? This is putting that really fine, fine edge on a piece. I can go in, read it, come back and look at it and say, right, I didn't get all the way to the edge. Now, all the way to the edge. You'll like this. Now you see, when I ground it, I removed all the red. All the way out there. That let me know when I was cutting to that edge. Hard to tell steel from steel from steel unless you got a reference on it. That's what I did. But what you can't see that I can is right along that edge, I have a little bit of a shadow. That is a no-no. Because this machine runs real slow, I think it's 90 RPMs or whatever, I allow it to run the whole time I'm using it, and I keep adding a little bit of magic formula number 9. Well, it's really H2O with water. It's easier for me to dispense it out of a 2-liter bottle than a garden hose, but I keep the reservoir full of water. Since I started yesterday, I've used up a 2-liter bottle of water, getting it resaturated into the stone again, and it's good. Never let them dry out. Now, I've got that skew sharpened up. Now, I've got a little fuzz on there. I want to take it off just like I normally do when I'm sharpening my skews. That's my diamond stone, and I'm making some very light passes, and I'm looking right down on it, right here. See it right there? Looking right down on it so I can see that I'm not rounding that corner, and I've got more control here than I do down on the table. I love when you see the guy bring up this big block and do it, and then you see the real experienced turners put the diamonds thrown out of the pocket and go. Okay, that's good. That's all you have. Now all cleaned up. That puppy sharp. Yeah. I'm like, oh no, there's a burr right there. There's a burr right there in the back corner, and I only felt that when I put my hand across it. Go back and take, there it is. That burr would read differently. It's gone. I know, yeah, my daddy told me I was a kid, if you can shave yourself with it, doesn't mean it's sharp, it just means your hair's thick. Now, let's do the parting tool. The parting tool is a strange little beast because people don't really understand. The top of this tool, this is the D-way tool, good heavy shaft on it all. The top of this tool is a silly millimeter or two smaller than the bottom. Why? I'm going to go down into a crack, and if it was same size, when I got down in the crack, it would bind up. I know I've showed you how to make homemade parting tools in the past, and that's great. You know, when you step up to really good quality, and you can buy one, buy a D-way, right? But what it tells me is I never want to touch these sides. Never. I don't want to polish them off or anything. Now, I get a little gunk on it every once in a while, and to get that gunk off, I'm over to the polishing compound and buff the residue off. But I don't want to remove any metal. Just want to get the crap off. That's a technical term, crap. I polished off the crud from the sides. If you don't believe that'll really help, it's just a pile of crud on the sides of the blade that's holding the blade back for what it can do. I don't want you to sand it off. Polish it off with this polish, or chemically remove it. Chemically, your MEK, your acetone, your denatured alcohol, your lacquer thinner, any of those. I'm not saying light. Any of those products will remove that waste off there, clean it up, and it will improve it. But don't sand it. Now, we've got the sides cleaned up. I want to rework my edge a little bit, and I'm going to go in and just put it. Well, no, I got to show you again. We're going to do this because it's the right way. Hold on, my bodyguards will work. Wow, at first I thought it was one of those working mailmen, but it's Sunday. We don't get mail on Sunday. And we hardly get mail any other day. Alright, I took my marks a lot, my Sharpie marker, and I darkened this edge, and I darkened this edge. And I use red. Why? Because I got red here at the house. Now I can go up, and when I make contact up here, and I pull down, I can turn over and see that I've removed the red all the way to the tip. No guessing, and it's a mind's eye thing. Clean it all up. I want to go right to that edge, because that edge does the cutting. Now consider this, if I bear down, thinking I'm going to remove more material and get a better cut, I'm just going to wear out my stone. So So I've got it at the right spot. Now, if I put my finger on the top and come around, oh yeah, oh yeah. I have managed to cut and add a little burr on that shoulder. That burr is okay. I can live with that burr. I like it. It's teeth. It's you know, that's a technical term. But that'll get it all done up. I don't have to redo this curve at all, ever. If I keep this coming up and keep that corner sharp, and that corner is sharp, it'll be all I need for a parting tool. Well, there you have it. I did about 3 sharpening tools. Now, this is the Tormek. It's a very fine grinding system. It comes with a ton of attachments you can do. I've got a hatchet out in the garden that I did the other day that, whew, scary. You can do all kinds of large blades, and your router blade, your planer blades. That can all be done on here. Can you do carbide? Maybe. At what cost? And for what reason? Okay. Here's the deal. It's not harder than carbide. It'll polish it. You'll think you got an edge. Get out your loop, look at it. Nope, you rounded it. So, no. We'll do the high-speed steel cutters made by Sorby and a couple of the other people. Yes, they're high-speed steel. They're softer than this. It'll cut it. Can it polish them? To some degree, you can polish anything in this world. I really think you can polish everything in the world. But it's what do you want to go through the effort for? This is an excellent machine. It's a good addition to a guy that's got a really full workshop that thinks he wants to take one more step up. Is it absolutely necessary? No. This has been on the shelf back there for 6 years. 6 years. Now, of course, I was sick for 5 of those years, but I've had no need for it, and I've turned almost every month since I got sick. And I turn it using conventional grinders and my CBN wheels. Okay, the difference is one grinds away, one cuts away, one polishes. If you're doing carving, detailing, scalloping work and all, you need this. You really do. To get them that sharp all the time and consistent, and you'll learn how to build a jig to know how far to put this in, how far to mount it in the guide. Remember, sharpening is one swipe. Sharpening is not tons of grinding that you did in high school. That's not sharpening, no. You don't want to get there. So if you want to polish off an edge and sharpen it up, this is the thing to go. Can you do it with others? Sure. As conveniently, no. Why do I have it? Because I thought I really wanted it at one time. Why do I still have it? Because I think I still want to have it. I can do scissors for my wife, and I tell you, she's queen of sewing, queen of quilting. There must be 100 pair of scissors in this studio up there. Now, the last couple of days I did 15 or 18 pair. That's what she normally uses and goes through. But when she teaches school and does workshops, she needs 25, 30 pair of scissors. And they're all sharp enough not to push. That's what it's about. Kitchenware. Cannot stand kitchenware that's not sharp. You will get cut on kitchenware that's not sharp. Bottom line. Why? Because you'll host the thing to make it work. So I've taken the kitchen stuff out of here. We'll get that. One of those exotic things. She bought a kit. I touch them, we'll put in. So it takes a minute to put them in a chuck. Face to face. Polish, polish. It's heaven. It is. Again, I want to say you don't have to have it. But if you get it, you'll love it. And it's made by maybe a dozen people now. I got the Tormek one. That's all we could find was the Tormek. But I've seen others in trade shows, and I've heard all the hype and all the noise about it. Listen to it. Just don't pay attention to it. It's as bad as paying attention here. Well, I'm Captain Eddie Castle, and I'm sharp as can be. Hey, you knew that was coming, didn't you? Didn't you know that? Hey, you knew that was coming. I'm in the shop, and I'm getting ready to go making shavings. You take care, be good. All I got to do is right. Making shavings. Okay? Take care. We'll do an epilogue because I said I'll do an epilogue every program. This is a Tormek, T-O-R-M-E-K, Super Grind 2000. It's 115 volts, 2,000 watts input. It's got a really beautiful wheel. Don't go get the high wheel. Don't go. I got one in there. I spent that $175 for that wheel. I went back to this one. Why? It's too soft. It cut like hell, but too soft, right? It's got a buffing rig. It's got another little collar that goes on with it that lets you buff. I use their product for lapping compound, but I found that the automotive lapping compound for polishing works just as well. Always keep it wet. If you're going to use it later on today, and you haven't used it in a couple of days, get your 2-liter bottle of water, no soap, nothing else, water, and put your water in it, turn it on and let it run for about an hour. It'll load that stone with the water. It'll help you when you're grinding, and when you get ready to go, you take your dressing stone, clean off any surface blemishes and stuff, and make it slick as can be. Remember, these cut so simple, so easy. That's all, just remember that. I'm Captain Eddie. Take care.